a couple exercises that we ended up doing here and how it affected some of the troopers.
Okay. So it all sounds pretty decent. So we'll just get right into it. We'll go to some Chris Brown right now. Don't Wake Me Up, and after that, got some Stay the Night by Zed, and then we'll be coming right back to the Sergeant Major. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best. It's 2:16 right now, and I'm Air Force Staff Sergeant Isaac Garden, and I am in the studio with Command Sergeant Major Gerardo Gonzalez from the 26 Cav, and also Sergeant Jesse Smith. And we want to talk about your goals while you're here in Korea, education and all that stuff. And I won't steal your light. I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Well, here goals as a squadron when we came in, one of the things that we set up as one of our goals is we have many first-termers coming in, and we wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to see the historic sites here, from here in Osan all the way to Incheon, and so many historic battles that have to do with the United States or just Korea alone. But one of the biggest goals that we had was making sure that we had 100% of our squadron go up and visit the DMC and the JSA and be able to see the historic buildings that are out there, and the most militarized border in the world. It's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. We just wanted to make sure that everybody got that chance.
That's awesome. So also, do you guys include the Frozen Chosen? Because I did a little video about that not too long ago, and read something about it. That's a pretty historic site too.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're divided it by troops, and we're still ongoing with our leader development program out here, and just going to several different sites down to the south, north, everywhere. Just like you said, the Frozen Chosen. It's quite remarkable when you visit some of these battlefields.
All right. So when you're talking about goals, you also have to talk about accomplishments. So what are some of the accomplishments that you guys can bolster?
Oh, well, some of the accomplishments that we've gotten here, just as soon as we arrived here in January. Coming from Hawaii, it was quite a bit of a shock, the weather difference. So one of the biggest accomplishments we got here was just a few weeks after arriving on the peninsula, we were able to drive from Camp Humphreys all the way to the east coast of the peninsula, to Donghae and Sakcho, in support of the Republic of Korea Naval First Fleet, and do some exercises out there, and driving in over 500 miles just in the convoys to get from home station to where we're working out of, and that's quite a bit of a distance to drive, being that in Hawaii, perfect weather for driving, not so much like the weather and snow that we encountered here, but the areas available to drive are just not that huge. So we would drive maybe 30, 40 miles for a convoy, preparing for this, and coming here, and that was a huge accomplishment. Just we had in the total of approximately 52 vehicles that rolled. We only had one vehicle breakdown that was able to self-recover, so nice. Hats off to all of our maintainers on the ground out there.
Oh, man, you guys are getting it done. That sounds awesome. So what else do you have to accomplish? I mean, 500-mile convoy, that's ridiculous.
Well, that's just one of the few things that we've accomplished here, but one of the biggest things that we did after that was go out and participate in platoon exavals out there, and TA Tom took out the entire squadron, and all of our helicopters participated in everything from doing helicopter engine replacements out in the field to FARP operations in the mission-oriented protective posture, MOP level 4 personal recovery training, and then flying all the way from TA Tom to Jikto Island, where we did a great live fire shoot out there.
Yeah,
so many
awesome.
Things.
That's awesome. So what kind of weapons were y'all firing out there?
We're firing out there the 2.75 inch millimeter rocket. I'm sorry, 2.75 millimeter rocket, and 2.75-inch rocket. I'm sorry, and then the 50 cal also is the weapon systems that we were using out there to fire on Jicto Island.
That's like one of my favorite weapons right there. 50 cal. Just turn it. I'm getting away from the topic, but anywho, we're gonna take a short break, and then after that, we'll be coming back with the check of your local weather. And then our next break, we'll be talking about some personal experiences during the spur ride. So don't go anywhere because you'll miss it all. Keep it locked on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best. It's 2:28 right now, and that was one Eskimo with candy. All right, so we're in the studio right now with Command Sergeant Major Gerardo Gonzalez from the 26 Cav and Sergeant Smith from the PAO down at Camp Humphreys. So you want to go ahead and describe this personal experience during the spur ride?
Sure, absolutely. It was a great experience, and the spur ride is a great cavalry tradition. Goes back to the days when young cavalry troopers were still riding on horseback were not initially given their spurs just to learn how to control the horse first before we give you the spurs, and you start poking into your horse and get him all riled up and he starts running off you, bucks you off. Then we got to go take care of you and find your horse.
Right.
But it's in order to earn our spurs, we were doing lots of events. From PT events to swimming to operations that we do on a daily basis here, that some of our troopers do out there, conducting fire-up operations, changing Hammett tires, starting fires, survival, PMCS and weapon systems, so many tasks out there. But I was out there just like any other trooper because I had never earned my spurs. This is really, in actuality, my first cavalry unit. So I had to go out there and just like them, be out there at 4:30 in the morning, lay out all my equipment, and if I was missing something or if I had something wrong, I added up some more weight just like everybody else. They threw a rock in my molly ruck, whatever it was, and then we'd start walking out to several different points for quite a bit of time. The first day we ended up being bussed out to TA Tom, where we had a field board at night where the senior spur holder, being the squadron commander, and other senior spur holders out there were asking us questions. We'd go out there as our team, and they asked us questions, what it meant to be in the cavalry. And it was a great night as they were sitting there by the fire, and they were asking us questions, and we'd recite Fiddler's Green. It was just a great time. The next morning, we were picked up via a CH-47 and dropped off on Pinnacle 4, where we ended up marching down and making it all the way back to Camp Humphreys. Where everybody that made it and every trooper that started finished. So I'm proud of that. And that's where we ended up having our spur ceremony, earned our spurs, and felt a great camaraderie and being able to be out there and see what our troopers are doing every day and do it right alongside with them. That was a best experience. Sometimes a little bit tough for an old sergeant major to deal with a couple of lieutenants calling him a shave tail, but they got theirs in, but I get mine.
I actually got to go to most of the events, and my favorite was the physical training event. That was intense. I did a story on their spur ride, so if you want to find out more about that, you can go read the story. But yeah, physical training event was exciting, at least to watch. I'm sure doing it wasn't all that fun.
Right. Okay, so all of this this happened in one day?
2 days.
2 days? Okay. So, that kind of stuff takes, of course, mental preparation, physical preparation. So how do you describe a 2-6 soldier, and how does that, separate from the ordinary soldier, not ordinary, but, the everyday soldier that you deal with?
Well, first of all, a 2-6 cavalry trooper is just that, a trooper. Come with a long line of tradition, starting the 6th Cavalry back from 1861. So we instilled with them the great traditions that, that started back then, and we still keep up. So a 2-6 trooper is a well-prepared, mentally tough, physically fit trooper that's ready to face any challenge, as they have proven over and over here on the peninsula.
Awesome. So what are you guys' plans for when the unit returns?
When the unit returns, big plans actually. Well, first of all, want to integrate everybody back onto the island life. Make sure that everybody's got all the safe briefings. But primarily is we want to get everybody back and get them back with their families. Get some downtime. Go out there, enjoy the beach, enjoy your families. Have a good time before we start having a big turnover, being that we are, going from a 58 unit to an Apache unit. We're going to have quite a large turnover, so we're going to be losing a lot of people and bringing in some new troopers into the unit.
So just good old-fashioned R&R pretty much, right? Just get used to it and then get back to work, right?
Little R&R and then getting after it again.
That's how it goes. All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with some more great music. And after that, we'll be talking right again with Sergeant Major. So don't go anywhere.
And started using their time wisely, volunteering at the local orphanages and elderly homes. One of the projects from the 2 Cab Commander, Colonel Taylor. So volunteering very quickly, spent a lot of hours, a lot of time going out there, and it not only was it good for obviously the orphans and the people living in the elderly home, but it was good for our young troopers to see what it feels like to give back.
Right.
So it's always a good thing to do that. Plus, lots of time spent at the USO volunteering. Many hours from many of our troopers, so much so that the USO and Camp Humphreys, before we go, is going to be doing a little barbecue for 2-6 Cav for just the amount of hours that they've put in, and so much work that they've put into the community. Another thing that we've accomplished along with MWR on Camp Humphreys is working to make the fitness annex building S111 into a great, almost world-class CrossFit facility. It has taken a lot of hours and a lot of time, but it's a lot of volunteer hours. Not only moving equipment and going into floor plans, planning workouts, but also many hours devoted to coaching the CrossFit fundamental movements and coaching, in the mornings, on the weekends, after work, during the weeks. So just doing a great job out there volunteering and going out and helping better the community and teach others about fitness. So really proud of all the troopers volunteering their hours and all of the CrossFit coaches out there working with Humphreys CrossFit on making the community better and healthier overall.
So those are two great points that you make, community relations and actually like doing something for your troopers, by your troopers, for your troopers. So what is the most rewarding moment or event that you guys endure here?
The most rewarding moment, I think the most rewarding moment is, there's so many of them, but I like to say it's, seeing just like we did yesterday, this week, some promotions that are going out there, seeing those young specialists promoted to the rank of sergeant, pinning on their stripes for the first time and welcoming them into the NCO Corps, especially when you have troopers that have done so much and have looked like they were going on a rocky start, but the best feeling is when it works. When you have a conversation with them, you point them in the right direction, and it really works for them, and they turn around and they start doing everything by the book, and then start working towards their promotion in their career. So really, the promotions are a great thing to see.
Okay, so with that being said, putting people in the right direction. So what kind of words do you have for the incoming unit?
Words for the incoming unit. There's so much to do here in Korea. There's so much to do, but you have to stay focused on why you're here. You're here to fight tonight, So just make sure that you understand why you're here and why the rules are in place. They're in place for readiness. So if the troopers understand that what your readiness is and what it needs to be here, you'll have a great time with no issues. But go out, find the history of Korea. There's American history here in Korea and a lot of history just on the peninsula itself. Go out and find it. It's not going to come and find you. You've got to go out and get involved in the community.
Absolutely. And with that being said, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with a check of your local weather, followed by a couple of Sergeant Major suggestions on the radio. So keep it locked right here on AFN The Eagle, preserving America's best.